In this video, I'm going to give you a quick preview of the upcoming October 2025 BTO. In total, there are 10 areas being announced, where 6 of them are located in mature towns. In terms of the number of units, I totaled up the numbers and seems like they will release more than 9,000 units. Some of these locations have been informed before, for example, Keppel and also Mount Pleasant, but the rest are quite new information. When I reviewed the list, I'm pretty sure that at least 6 of these will have like 10-year MOP. The only question would be whether it's a plus or prime, but then in reality, they are almost similar in practice, right? There are only like minor differences. For me personally, I would be interested to know whether in October, the subsidy recovery rate will be the same as July or will it increase further? As we know, back in October 2024, the subsidy recovery rate was between 6 to 9%. But then suddenly in July 2025 BTO launch, it became between 11 to 12%. So I'm curious to know, is there any upper limit? So for example, will Keppel get hit by 20%, 30% or something? I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Another thing that I find interesting for October is that there are 4 mega projects, meaning each of those locations have more than 1,000 units. This is quite unusual because typically in every BTO batch, there's only like one project with over 1,000 units. But this time around, it will be 4 mega projects. So that's significant. I'm assuming HDB did this because for October, there is no SBF scheduled. So it will just be purely BTO launch. By the way, for October 2025, there might be a good news for seniors and first-timer singles who are keen to apply for Turun Flexi because I counted the number of Turun Flexi across all projects, and for October, there are just under 2,900 units, which is significantly more because back in July 2025 BTO launch, the Turun Flexi total amount is just 1,300. Now, let's take a quick look for every location. Comment down below if you want me to do an in-depth analysis of each project, do the ratings, etc. Let's start with Mo Kio BTO. This is the biggest project offered in October with over 1,400 units of Turun Flexi, 3-room and 4-room flats. And on the premise, there will be a preschool, eating house, a supermarket, and several shops. Initially, I was very excited when I saw Mo Kio as one of the lineup for October 2025. But then when I look at the map, apparently the nearest MRT station is Yio Chu Kang, and that is even about 1.1 kilometer according to Google Maps. So it's not within walking distance. That means the residents here would either need to rely on public buses or have their own private vehicle. In terms of project classification, I'm guessing this project will be categorized as plus. Why? Because it's in a mature town, but then it's far away from MRT station. But then again, even though you will need to rely on feeder buses, but Mo Kio is still a mature town, so you have quite a lot of amenities surrounding the project. It's just that you need to be a little bit more patient to wait for the bus. That probably also explain why they have such great on-site facilities, right? Like supermarket, hawker center, etc. Seems like HDB also acknowledged that the location for this particular site is a little bit remote. Another thing that I like about this Mo Kio BTO is that there are plenty of school options and it's at various level. So it's quite sustainable for family because you could just stay here since your kids are still very small until they are on their teenage years. I also appreciate that there will be quite a lot of Turun Flexi supply, especially for seniors and also for first-timer singles. So I am excited about that. On the other side, I am a little bit worried about the entry price. So at the moment, we don't know what the price would be, but I'm guessing it will be on a higher end because Mo Kio is a mature town and typically they would base the BTO prices depending on nearby resale transactions. But if you want to look at it from a positive side, the combination between far from MRT station and then high price, you might end up with limited competition level. So I'm not sure whether this project could get high application rate because historically in Mo Kio, the application rate can be hit or miss depending on proximity to MRT. So there's a big possibility this project could ended up having low competition, which is a good news if you are seriously wanting to live in Mo Kio. Now let's discuss Bedok BTO. There will be around 850 units here, so it's like a mid-sized project. However, in terms of the flat type being offered is quite generous, so they will have 2-room flexi, 3-room, 4-room, 5-room, and even 3-gen. However, interestingly, in terms of on-site facilities, they would just have a preschool. When I look at the map, it seems like this particular site is located somewhere between Kembangan MRT station and Bedok MRT station, but according to Google Map, it is slightly closer to Bedok MRT station, but it's still about 1.5 kilometers away, so it's quite far. Because it's located in a mature town, but far away from MRT station, I'm guessing this project will be categorized as plus. If we look at the map that was given by HDB, in terms of school options, it looks limited to me. Not sure whether this particular map version doesn't show all schools or something, but it doesn't look that much, so it seems quite limited. In terms of amenities, it seems like the location of this particular site is surrounded by residential buildings, so looks like the residents of this BTO would need to travel by bus to Bedok or Kembangan for more amenities. Given that this project is located in a mature town, there's a possibility that the entry price for this BTO would be on the higher side simply because it is located in Bedok, so the resale transactions nearby probably will be on the higher side as well. But then again, this particular site is quite remote. It's quite hidden. I have a lot of concerns for this location. It looks like it is in a hidden corner of a mature town, and then combined with lack of amenities, lack of school options, high entry price, there's a possibility that this project will have a moderate to low application rate, and a sizable chunk might ended up in future SBF. I don't know. I think the only grace that might be good for this project is if this one is categorized as a standard project, because if it's 5-year MOP and just standard restrictions, then people might still consider this project. But then if the location is this remote and then you slap it with very strict restrictions and 10-year MOP, and then you cannot rent out the whole flat after MOP, etc., I think people would probably pick another location or wait for another BTO launch. Now let's talk about Bishan BTO. So the size of project itself is kind of small because it will only have 530 units of 2-room flexi, 3-room, and 4-room flat. According to Google Map, the distance between this location versus Bishan MRT station is about 600 meters. So that's not exactly close, but then that's not that far away either. So I think it's still manageable just to walk. On site, there will be a preschool and, interestingly, a kidney dialysis center. According to Google, the last time Bishan had a BTO launch was back in November 2020. Not sure whether that information is accurate. Please comment down below if that information is inaccurate. But if it's true that the previous BTO in this area was back in 2020, then there's a possibility there will be a very high demand for this particular BTO, because as you can see, it's within walking distance to Bishan MRT, and then it's been a very long while since there's a BTO here. So I think this project will definitely get slapped by 10-year MOP. The only question would be whether it's a plus or prime. But judging from how Payoh BTO is categorized as prime in July 2025, right? So I think this Bishan BTO would get slapped by prime as well. That would be my guess. If we look at the map, the area itself is surrounded by quite a lot of amenities and also school options, so that's very good. Although, of course, you might need to take a long walk or to ride a bus, but it's still a very good selections of amenities and schoolings. So Bishan historically always have a very strong demand, right? So I think if you buy this BTO, then it will be very possible to rent out rooms, or should be easy also to resell the flat in the future after MOP. However, we would need to wait and see to know what is the entry price, because again, most likely this would be one of those projects with high entry price because of the comparable nearby. Overall, from my end, it's actually difficult to find any fault for this particular project. So this Bishan BTO, I was trying to find, okay, what are the cons that I can say about this project? And it's actually kind of difficult to find the fault. So I'm guessing that this project will be very competitive because it does genuinely have a lot of strong points, and the project is also on the smaller side, only like 500 something units. So be prepared if you are keen to apply for this particular BTO. It's going to be very, very competitive. Okay, next up, we have Keppel BTO at Bukit Merah. In total, there will be 870 units of 2-room flexi, 3-room, and 4-room flat. According to Google Map, the location of this site is in between Teluk Blangah and Labrador Park, but it seems like it's closer to Teluk Blangah, about 350 meters, so that's definitely within walking distance. Interestingly, the facilities on site would just be a preschool, which I find interesting because initially I was expecting this site would have like supermarket, etc., but apparently it's only a preschool. I was expecting to see more on-site amenities because this project will actually kickstart the development of the greater southern waterfront and will form part of the 6,000 HDB flats, and also there will be 3,000 private homes around the area. So it's interesting that it will only have a preschool. It's obvious that this project would have extremely high resale value, right? Especially if you are lucky enough to get high floors. FYI that the height of the blocks here would be between 19 and 46. So that's quite high. If you manage to get top level units, then you would get unblocked view to the ocean. Personally, I would not be surprised if this particular BTO would be like $2 million resale flat producer in the future. It's not even 1 million. I think it would go beyond that. Probably 2 million for like a high floor 4-room flat. But of course, that's in the future, right? So after MOP, etc. If you are interested on this project, just watch out that there will be a lot of construction dust and also noise because the area is being transformed, right? There are a lot of development around the area. That's why initially there will be lack of amenities. And then honestly, looking at the map, there seems to be limited schooling options. Like I was struggling to find, like if I have a family and then living here, like where would I send my kids? This is something that you need to consider, especially if you have a family or planning to have a family and want to apply for this BTO. There's another watch out, which is a ballot risk. So in the current rule, HDB only allows you to apply for one town and one flat type. But then in this particular October BTO, there are actually 2 locations for Bukit Merah, one in Keppel and then the other one in Red Hill Close. So you kind of have to be mentally prepared depending on your queue number, right? To be fair, Red Hill Close is not that bad either in terms of location, but then you just have to be mentally prepared because if you already so gung-ho, like you want to have like high floor unit facing the ocean and then you want this and then apparently your queue number doesn't permit you to do that. So you just have to be mentally prepared. You can ballot, of course, for Bukit Merah, but then you don't know which project you will get. I'm actually also curious to know what would be the entry price for this project because I'm assuming it will be very high, but then psychologically it's not possible for them to have like a 4-room BTO started at like 1 million, right? It's not possible for HDB to do that. So we'll see what is the entry point later on. I'm guessing the entry price would be, I don't know, 600,000, 700,000. Comment down below, guys. What do you think the entry price for a 4-room flat in this BTO at Keppel? Let me know. Please comment down below. I want to know what you think. Another thing to note that HDB already announced that one of the block here will be rental flats. So just FYI. Okay, next up we have the other Bukit Merah project which is located at Red Hill Close. The project would have about 1,020 units of 2-room flexi and 4-room flats. In fact, 410 of it would be 2-room flexi, so this is good news for seniors and first-timer singles. Personally, I was quite surprised when HDB announced to release this spot in October because they had just announced 2 Bukit Merah BTO in July, right? And Keppel was already slated to be in October, which is technically Bukit Merah as well. So I was quite surprised that there are quite a lot of Bukit Merah location being released. I have no doubt that this project would get slapped by the 10-year MOP. Most likely, it will be a prime project. In terms of distance to MRT station, according to Google Map, it's about 650 meters to the Red Hill MRT station. And then regarding the amenities surrounding the area, it's actually quite good because, for example, within walking distance, you can go to Red Hill Market and Food Center, and then there are a lot of shops, clinics, etc. If we look at the map, in terms of school options, there are also quite a lot of choices, so that's good for families. Without a doubt, I think this project would have a high resale value as well as a rental value. But then again, remember, for prime and plus project, we cannot rent out the whole flat even after MOP. So you can only rent out rooms even after MOP. In terms of entry price, I expect this project to have entry price probably somewhat similar to the Alexander Vista and Alexander Peaks, maybe slightly higher, but around that range. At first, when I look at this location, initially it felt like a trap because it is located in the same town as Keppel, but then there will be no ocean view from Red Hill Close, right? But then upon closer look, I actually feel that this project is more sustainable for families and also more convenience for day-to-day life. Even though you cannot see the ocean from your house every day, but then as you can see, the amenities surrounding the area and also the school options are much better, especially if you have a family. But then again, if you apply for Bukit Merah in October, there's a risk. If you have a good queue number, you can either pick Red Hill Close or Keppel. So again, it depends on your queue number, assuming you're lucky enough to get a queue number to begin with. Okay, next up, we have Mount Pleasant BTO at Toa Payoh. This is another mega project with 1,350 units of 2-room flexi, 3-room and 4-room flats. On site, there will be a preschool, an eating house, a supermarket, several shops, and also residence network center. According to Google Map, it is about 300 meters to Mount Pleasant MRT station, so that's very good. Considering how HDB and the government announced about this Mount Pleasant BTO even before the July BTO was released, that means they are proud of this one, so I'm betting that this project will be slapped with prime classification. I think the open question would just be about how much is the subsidy recovery percentage, so I would be interested to know about that. Looking at the map, it seems to be quite close to popular school options such as Raffles Girls' School, Raffles Institution, CHIJ Primary and Secondary Schools, and also SGI International. So I'm assuming there will be quite a lot of families and parents applying for this project, even though the area itself is currently being transformed, which means there will be a lot of dust and noise. But then if you need more amenities, you can just take a quick MRT ride or take a bus ride to the Toa Payoh town itself. There will be more options there. Now, there has been some discussion whether the fact that this BTO will be located so near to two cemeteries would be a problem. But looking at the map, it seems like this particular project is located a little bit further away. There will be future BTOs in the Mount Pleasant areas that will be closer to the cemeteries, but at least not this one. Personally, do I think it will hurt the resale value? Probably a little bit, but it should not be too significant because if you think about it, Bidadari used to be cemetery, Bishan also, Mo Kio also. So it's actually quite common in Singapore whereby you build residential houses on previous cemeteries. However, one of my viewers here commented on one of my videos that the cemeteries will still be there. So it's not like it's being moved away or something, it will still be there. So you can still kind of see it. Yeah. Probably that's true. If we are talking about potential resale value down the line, I do agree that there will be some potential buyers who will be deterred with the fact that this location is near to cemeteries, but I think in general it should not be that much of a big deal. That would be my guess, because if I look at the statistics and the trends of property in Singapore, right, it seems like for Singaporeans, as long as it's near MRT station and then it's in a mature town, then can hit 1 million already. So we'll see whether the cemetery issue is really a big problem or not in the future, but my guess is that it would not hurt this project as much. Of course, if you buy this BTO, you have to be mentally prepared with the construction dust and noise from surrounding areas, at least for several years to come. So I think that would be the watch out. Another information is that two of the blocks here will be integrated with public rental flats, and one block will have rental units only. So that is something to take note of. Next up, we have Jurong East. This location will have 620 units of 2-room flexi, 3-room, 4-room, 5-room, and 3-gen, which is quite surprising considering the size of land plot is actually not that big, but they are trying to fit different flat types here, so that is interesting. If I look at the map, the nearest MRT station is Pandan Reservoir, which is about 400 meters away, so within walking distance lah. And then in terms of on-site facilities, there will be a preschool and Residence Network Center. I'm guessing this project will be categorized as standard, so it should just have the 5-year MOP as well as the normal restrictions. If you like an active lifestyle, this location is near the Pandan Reservoir Park, so you can cycle or jog around the area, so that's good. In terms of amenities, if I look at the map, it looks like it's quite limited in terms of schooling options as well as amenities options. It seems like the nearest amenities center would be near Jurong East area, which is about 2 MRT stops away. Overall, I think this project would be suitable for someone who likes the west area. Although it's far from CBD, but at least it's near MRT station, right? Now, the lack of schooling options might be an issue for families. So as you can see on the map, it is near one secondary school, which is Commonwealth Secondary School, but then I was struggling to find where's the nearest primary school. So just a watch out that the lack of schooling options might be an issue for families. Next up, we have Sengkang BTO. In this location, there will be 1,030 units of CCA, 2-room flexi, 4-room and 5-room flats. The nearest train station is Kupang LRT, which is about 500 meters away. And in terms of on-site facilities, it will have a preschool. If we look at the map, this place seems to have quite a lot of good amenities. It also have various school options, so that's good for families. If you like an active lifestyle, it is also relatively near to Sengkang Riverside Park. And then if you like culinary, it's also relatively close to Jalan Kayu, which is about 1 LRT stop away. What makes this project special is because it will have about 200 community care apartments, which comes with senior-friendly fittings such as wheelchair-accessible bathrooms, as well as health and community services to help seniors live independently. I think without a doubt, this project will be classified as standard lah. I mean, if you slap Sengkang with plus, then people cry ah. If you are interested in this location, just watch out that some blocks will face the expressway. So if you see on the map, right, there's an expressway next to it. So just heads up on that. And then it seems like the surrounding areas are still being developed as well. So do expect some construction dust and also noises. And of course, living near Fernvale like this, right, you have to be mentally prepared to switch from LRT to MRT every single day if you need to commute to central areas for your work, etc. My overall impression of this project is that I think this is like textbook budget BTO, which means it has an affordable entry price, it's located far away, but close enough to transport node with plenty of school options nearby. So I think this would be a good option for families with limited budget. Okay, next up we have Chen Charu BTO at Yishun. This project would have 810 units of 2-room flexi, 3-room, 4-room, and 5-room flats. The nearest MRT station, according to Google Map, is Khatib, and the distance is about 650 meters, but it's a little bit difficult to be certain about it because the area is currently being transformed and the government haven't built some of the roads, so we don't know for sure, but it's roughly about that lah. In terms of facilities on site, there will be a preschool, but then that's it. I predicted that this development would be one of the budget-friendly option of the batch, but then if you live here, of course, you need to be mentally prepared with the construction dust and noise from the surrounding areas, and looks like there will be some lack of amenities at least initially. And then Sembawang Air Base is actually located quite nearby. So in the past, people commented on my channel that, oh, that particular airbase is not noisy at all, etc. But then I don't know. Honestly, I've never been to Chen Charu, so I don't know whether it's true or not. But I live at different parts of Singapore that is not near any airbase or any airport. But then I've always managed to hear airplane noises anyway, so I don't know. take it with a pinch of salt, I don't know, but I think there will be some risk of air-based noises here. In terms of resale value, I think it will be limited, not only because of its remote location, but also because you will have plenty of competition. There are a lot of BTOs launch around the areas. So when you are ready to sell your flat, there are a lot of competition, and in terms of the building age, it will be quite similar. So just a heads up on that. In terms of balloting, do note that there's some risk because there are two BTO projects for Yishun in the October batch. So this one and the other one, and then the other one is actually further away from MRT station, so that's a watch out. Okay, last but not least, we have the other Yishun BTO, but this one is located between Yishun Ring Road and Yishun Street 31. This project is a little bit on the smaller side with 560 units of 2-room flexi and 4-room flats. According to Google Map, the nearest MRT station is Yishun, but it's about 1.5 kilometers away, so definitely you would either need a feeder bus or a private vehicle. In terms of facilities on site, there will be a preschool and a senior care center. I think this will be one of the more affordable option in the bunch. If you look at the map, there's quite a lot of school options, so that's good for families. And in terms of amenities, it seems like you are just one bus ride away to either Junction 9 or North Point City Mall, so that's good. And there are also several spots nearby that are family friendly. For example, you have the Yishun East Free Water Park, and then you also have Khatib Bongsu Park Connector, Yishun Pond, and so Yishun Park to spend quality time with your family, so that's good. Another thing that I like about this project is that it has plenty of 2-room flexi supply, and yeah, I think this project would definitely be classified as standard flat, right? On the other hand, the downside of this project is pretty obvious because it is far from MRT station, which then has a domino effect because it will limit the resale value and also limit the rentability of this project. Again, if you are planning to apply for Yishun Town in the upcoming October BTO, just be mentally prepared because you can only pick the town but not the project, right? So if you have a queue number, you could end up with this project or the other project in Chen Charu. Between the two Yishun BTO, actually the surrounding of this particular project is more mature, even though they are bus ride away. But then the downside is this project is further away from MRT, so it's up to you what's more important. If you ask me which one is better, October or the previous batch, well, if you look at it, usually HDB would intentionally mix every batch. It will always be a combination between mature towns and non-mature towns. So I think just apply according to what you want, what your life circumstances is, what's your budget, etc. And then once you made a decision, I would say don't look back. Just keep going. That would be my suggestion. To get exclusive contents and support my work, click the join button to be part of the online family. Your support means a lot to keep us independent. Don't forget to join the membership, and I'll see you on my next video. Bye bye.